Hare Krishna. So today we'll talk about why we should memorize verses and how do we memorize verses. A lot of us have this question in our mind, how can we memorize verses from Bhagavad Gita or Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? But before we talk about the how to memorize verses, I would like to discuss why to memorize verses or shlokas. Again, I'm not a subject matter expert in this. I'm not a Vedic scholar, but whatever little I have learned from my teachers, I will share to the best of my capacity. So why should we even try or attempt to memorize verses? Number one, I'll give 6 reasons which I have heard from senior Vaishnavas in the Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya. Number 1, it pleases Krishna. It's very, very important that when we recite verses, it pleases Krishna. We can see that in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that at any point a devotee is speaking verses or prayers, it is Krishna is smiling, or Krishna is very, very happy to see and to hear his devotees chanting these wonderful prayers. And Krishna is very happy to hear the prayers. So reciting verses or memorizing verses will please Krishna. Number 2, it will awaken love for Krishna, because these verses are not ordinary material words. These are full of transcendental sounds. These are full of name of Krishna, Govinda, Rama, Madhusudana, so many wonderful words, Damodara, and the words which describe Krishna's name form qualities, which glorify his devotees, which tell about the principles of life, the do's and don'ts. So all these words from the scriptures are apurushaya, they're very transcendental. So it helps us to awaken love for Krishna. Number 3, it adds authenticity. Whenever we are sharing about Krishna consciousness with others, we must share the references too. Srila Prabhupada said that my devotees should be like lawyers. As lawyers quote law books in the court, similarly we should try to memorize verses and quote them, which would add authenticity and credibility to whatever we are sharing. So I'm not speaking what my mind and senses tell me or what I feel. A lot of people these days talk, I think life is this, I think God is this, but what is the proof? So we must try to share the references too, that it's not my feeling, it's the words of Bhagavad Gita or Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Number 4, it is the best way to engage our intelligence in Krishna's service. When our mind and intelligence will be occupied with trying to memorize verses, those verses will keep reverberating in our consciousness and in our subconscious state. And in short, we will have no time for mundane things or for things which are not important, which are not value added in our life. When we engage ourselves in spiritual words, when the verses from Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And point number 5, it helps us to prepare for death. It is said life is a preparation and death is an examination. Like how Gajendra called out for Supreme Lord when the time of his death came, when the crocodile of death was trying to pull him in the water, when he called out the wonderful prayers which are in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8. So we can also learn these verses and call out in difficulty in any situation practically. So it's helping us to prepare, because if we don't try to learn, then how will we even try to remember? Whatever energy, whatever time we focus on learning, we will remember that at the time of death. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Whoever remembers me at the time of death will attain me. If someone remembers, materialistic songs, Hollywood, Bollywood, they will attain that consciousness. Very, very simple. And number 6, it purifies our mind and intelligence. These are, as I said, these are not ordinary words. These are spiritual sounds. So it leads to purification. Cheto darpana marjanam. And of course, The best shloka, the best verse is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or when we are reciting other verses which glorify Krishna and his devotees, we are basically purifying our mind, our intelligence, our consciousness, our soul, so that we can rekindle that dormant love for the Supreme Lord. So we discussed 6 reasons. Just to quickly sum up: it pleases Krishna, it awakens love for the Supreme Lord, it adds authenticity and credibility to our whatever we are sharing, and it helps us to engage our mind and intelligence. Empty mind, devil workshop. So let's not keep our mind empty or engage in bad things, but let's engage in verses or Krishna conscious content. Number 5, it helps us to prepare for death, the example of Gajendra the elephant. And number 6, it helps us to purify our mind, our consciousness. Now, after discussing why, because when we have a strong why, then the how will get easier. A great philosopher has said, then why is strong, then how is easier. Therefore, having a strong why is important. If we don't have a strong why, then we will not focus on how. But if we really want to attain something, we will by any means, yena kena prakarena, we will do that. Means by somehow or the other, we will do that because we have a strong determination. Now we'll discuss 9 steps or 9 ways we can try to memorize verses. Step number 1 is to set a firm goal, and that goal should be specific. Again, it could vary based on our situation and capability and age and other factors, but there should be a goal to achieve. It could be 1 verse a day, it could be 5 verses a week, or it could be 1 verse a week. Whatever you feel you want to measure yourself against, because what cannot be measured cannot be improved. So we must try to set a goal. Whether, as I said, it could be different for different people, but there should be a specific goal and a time-bound goal, which is measurable too. And that's the definition of a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's realistic. It should not be, I'll learn 100 verses tomorrow. So it may not be achievable. It may not be too far-fetched for us. So set a goal. That's step number 1. And you can start with the top 50 verses of Bhagavad Gita. If you have already learned that, you can do the next 50, like the top 108 verses. And if you want to receive those first 50 verses or first 10 most important verses, please do mention your email address in the comment. I will send those to you, a PDF file or a Word file. If you want to take some important verses from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, if you want to receive those, send me an email or put your email in the comment. I will send those to you, whether you want verses from Bhagavad Gita or Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, top 10 or top 108. We have those lists compiled by senior Vaishnavas, so we can start learning those verses, which are very, very important, very, very sweet, full of nectar. So number 1 is goal. Step number 2 is to understand. Try to understand each and every word of that verse. Srila Prabhupada has given the word-to-word translation. That's a unique contribution of Srila Prabhupada, that we may not be Sanskrit scholars, we may not know Sanskrit language, but whatever language we know, those word-to-word translations are available for Bhagavad Gita, for Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam verses in practically all languages of the world. So try to understand word-to-word for most of the verses, most of the words in that verse. If not for all the words, at least for most of the words. That will help us, and that verse will go deeper in our consciousness, in our memory, when we understand what we are speaking. So we are not just reciting like a parrot, although doing that also has a lot of value because these are spiritual sounds. But when we know the meaning behind that, it will be much more beneficial. For kids or people below a certain age, even if they don't understand meaning, they will understand at the right time. So for the kids, it's okay to just focus on learning or memorizing word for word or the entire verse without even understanding at the right time. They will be able to grab it. So understand the meaning of most of the words, very, very important. Then the step number 3 is the most important step, is hearing. We must hear the transcendental sound vibration, and preferably from someone who is reciting it well in the right pronunciation, the right meter and the right pronunciation. If we hear and continuously hear, that's going in our consciousness. So step number 3 is hearing again and again, again and again. And step number 4 is repetition. I cannot overemphasize the importance of repetition. Repeat, 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 repeat multiple times. Repetition is the mother of mastery and the father of skill. It's very, very important. And it is our Vedic culture. In the Gurukul system, the teacher would speak and the students would repeat. In our ISKCON temples also, we see that in the Bhagavatam class, the speaker is speaking a verse and then multiple people from the audience are repeating that. And when we repeat, don't just repeat in your consciousness or just, murmur. Repeat it loud and clear and try to repeat in the right pronunciation, the right meter. It has a very deep effect. Repetition is most important step in trying to memorize a verse. And then number 5 is sharing. Now, after we have heard properly, after we have repeated multiple times, 10 times, 20 times, until we can repeat it without seeing it. First, you can repeat by looking at that verse or the content of the verse. And after that, it will go in your memory and your consciousness. And then you can repeat without even seeing that. That's very important. So step number 5 is sharing. You share with your friend, you share with your relatives, you share with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadham bhakti upaharitam ashnami prayat atmanah. So that patram, although it refers to a leaf, but in the olden days, so certainly we must offer leaf, and the best amongst the leaves is Tulasi Devi. So we should certainly offer, but patram also refers to, in the olden days, the verses were written on leaves. So when we offer a verse which we have learned or we have memorized, when we see the deities in our home or temple, we can offer that. My dear Lord, my dear Gaur-Nitai, my dear Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani, my dear Radha Krishna, I have learned this verse for your pleasure. Please hear it from me. Krishna would be very, very happy. As Mother Kunti speaks verses in Bhagavatam, Krishna is very happy. As Bhishma Pitama speaks verses, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Gajendra, so many wonderful devotees have shared so many wonderful verses, and Krishna is always very, very happy, smiling to hear those verses. So share with your friends, share with the deities, share with anyone. These are good in bad times or good times. Anytime we can share. You're talking to someone, before you hang the phone, say, hey, can I share a verse with you? It takes only 10 to 15 seconds to repeat a verse. It doesn't take a lot. But the point is, we do that, we share. Because if we don't use it, we lose it. Very simple. If we don't exercise, the muscles won't work. And as a result, then we will be, because it's like a machine, when the car is not moving for a long time, the engine may go bad. Similarly, the muscles would go bad. Similarly, the brain muscles, which these days we are so much dependent on technology, we're not exercising our brain by trying to remember things. So we must exercise that our brain, our mind by repeating, because that will take some, effort, which will help us to remember more. Number 6, try to link the verses. Let's say you have heard a verse or memorized a verse, and try to find the words in the verse which you may have heard in the other verses also. For example, we'll start with Let's say Dharma Kshetre Kurushetre Samvetaya Yutsava Mamaka Pandava Sheva Kima Kurvat Sanjaya. Bhagavad Gita 1.1. You try to link more verses to it. For example, with the word dharma, do you know any other verse where the word dharma comes? This will help you to exercise your brain, and then it's a best exercise to remember Krishna, to remember the holy verses. Oh yeah, I can think of one verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. So in that way we can try to link. Okay, now I want to link this, a word from this verse to some other verse. Bhavati, let's pick the word bhavati. Can you think of any verse from bhavati? Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvam shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So that's an interesting game, and that ties to the next also. Make it fun. Make it fun. Again, it may when you're starting this, your capacity may be the verses in your memory may be few, but as you are building, consistency is important. As you are building every week, even one verse or two verses every week, the power of consistency is that in no time you will realize that you have learned like 50 verses or 100 verses, and then you can have this activity with your friends, your relatives, your children, or anyone. So make it fun. Bhakti is fun. Susukham kartum avyayam. So we should make it fun. There are a lot of things we can make it fun. You can also sing it with your mridanga and kartal. His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu recommends this, that we can sing the verses. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati tadham bhakti upaharitam ashnami prayatatmana manmana bhavmad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam patparayanaha. That's a beautiful kirtan. We can sing these verses. Another way, if you see some numbers, try to link those numbers. Like in North America, there's a gas station called 7-Eleven. Whenever you're passing by, hey, can you think of that verse 7-Eleven? What is that verse? Oh, I know that verse. If you're driving with your family, balam balam vatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitaha dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. In that way, you can try to, link it with your apartment number, link with your birthdays, your anniversary, you can do some maths with your kids. What is 2 plus 7? Can you tell me the verse 2.7? Like that, make it fun, make it interesting. Think of novel ways. If you have some other interesting ways to make it fun, please mention in the comment section so others can also be benefited from your unique novel ideas. And number 8. Again, very, very important. As we are memorizing verses, we have to review those periodically. So make your diary, make your verse diary your own. It will be very specific for you, for the verses you have learned from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. Make a note of all those verses. You can do that in a hard copy, like a physical diary, or you can do it in a Google spreadsheet or whatever works best for you. The point is that we have to review that periodically, because if you are doing it consistently, you're adding 2 to 5 verses every week. In about 50 weeks, in 1 year you have 100 verses. But if you don't review it periodically, as I said, what we don't use, we lose it. Therefore, make it a point, whether either every 15 days or every 30 days, review all those verses which you have learned or memorized. And our movement, ISKCON, has provided wonderful small books. These are all pocket books which have wonderful verses. This is all the 108 important verses from Bhagavad Gita, level 1. If someone learns these, then someone can go to the next level, level 2, the next 100 important verse. You can also use flashcards. Just write the verse on paper or in a flashcard and keep it handy. You can carry it anywhere. You can put it in your kitchen because, ladies spend a lot of time in the kitchen. You can put it in your car. You can put it in your office. Even you can put in, your bathroom while you're brushing. You can have a look at this verse, and then it will go deeper in your consciousness. Similarly, there are books available, 200 important verses from Canto 1 to 6 of Bhagavatam, 200 important verses from Canto 7 to 12 of Bhagavatam. So these are pocket books we can carry anywhere. Utilize our time. Sometimes we are waiting. A lot of times we are waiting in a grocery store. We are waiting sometimes 32 seconds to 1 minute on a red light. Can we quickly glance at this verse and say, oh, what does it say? Janmeshware Shutra Shribhi Edamana Madapuma Nevart Avaharti Avidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. How much time it took? Less than 15 seconds. If we try to fill in those gaps, we will have amazing verses in our consciousness, and then we can call out from our heart as a prayer. Verse is basically a prayer to Krishna from the heart. So point number 8, review it periodically. It is must do. Point number 9, we must have a balanced lifestyle. One who is regulated in eating, sleeping, recreation, defending, etc. That person is yogi. That person can destroy the dukkha. So balance in eating, sleeping, recreation is very, very important for healthy mind, healthy intelligence, and healthy body and healthy spirit. As Bhagavad Gita explains in chapter 6, text number 17, Yukta hara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapna bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. So eating, sleeping, mating, recreation should be regulated. We should, again, this is a very, very big topic, but we should be very conscious in our habits, in our eating, etc., because that has a direct consciousness with our mind and intelligence and our purification. So that was step number 9. Balancing is very, very important. Let's review all these 9 steps really quick. Number 1 is to set a specific goal, whether 1 verse a day or 1 verse a week. That's totally your choice, but there must be some goal so you can measure yourself. Number 2, try to understand most of the words in the verse so you are able to understand the meaning, what's going on in that verse. Number 3, hear from someone who is speaking nicely in the nice meter and pronunciation. Take help from seniors. It will really help to learn properly. Number 4, repeat. It takes only 15 to 20 seconds, so sometimes you want less to repeat one time. So practically, if we do multiple times, at least 10 times, 20 times, it will only take maybe 2-3 minutes to repeat 20 times. But the point is, try to do different times of the day. Repeating, we can repeat with like 5-10 times when we are learning, and then try to repeat it every like 2 hours or every 3 hours, so that our brain will have to tax. So do some exercise. Our brain will have to make some effort to think, what was that verse after bhakti? Oh, I'm missing that verse. Don't immediately try to see from your notes or the book. Do some effort. For example, if you are lifting a weight, and if you're not trying to lift against some force, then you're not building strength. Similarly, if you're not trying to tax our brain to remember it, we are not doing that, building that strength to remember more. So repeating, very, very important. Number 5, share with the Supreme Lord, share with your friends, your family, husband, wife, children, relatives, anyone and everyone. And that may bring up a preaching opportunity. Let's say you're talking to a friend. Hey, can I share this verse with you before I hang up? I'm trying to learn this. And then say you share a verse, and then he or she may ask, oh, what is that verse about? Can you tell me? See, that opens doors for new opportunities to share more with others. Number 6, try to link. Where did you hear this word dharma? Where did we hear this word Kṛṣṇa? What does Kṛṣṇa mean? Do we know any other verse where Kṛṣṇa comes? So like that, try to link. Number 7, make it fun. Bhakti is fun. think of ways you can make it fun, whether some, like remembering 7-Eleven or remembering your house address, link with those verses, doing some math problems with your kids and trying to remember verses along. Make it fun. Do it kirtan of the verses. Let's say you have learned 5 verses. Sing in the form of kirtan. That's what Mother Yashoda used to do. They would poeticize the pastimes of Krishna and they would sing in the form of kirtan every day. Well, that's what exactly we can do. And make it fun. You can play spiritual antakshari, right? Let's say I speak a verse and then you have to pick one verse, one word. Let's say I speak a verse, Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji namam namaskuru. Mameveshyasi yuktvevam atmanam mat parayanaha. So you can pick any word or even a synonym of the word like bhakti or bhakta. It doesn't have to be in the same, usage of the vyakaran or the grammar. It can be like if the word bhakti is coming, you can pick the word bhakta also. And, namaste is coming, you can namaskuru. So you can pick the verse and the next person has to speak one verse from using the word from the previous verse. So it's a great way. It's fun. It's a game, and the whole family, the whole group of devotees will love it. Number 8, very, very important, review periodically. Make your diary. Have these small books easily available and you can have printouts. As I said, if you need those list of important 51 verses or important 140 verses, please reach out. Comment mention your email in the comment. I'll send those to you. And use flashcards, whatever works best for you. Some people find books easy, but somehow or the other, reviewing is important so that you're not just in and out. You learned one verse 5 months back, you want to retain it and you want to use it, you want to review it. Somehow there should be a mechanism to review it. And number 9 is to have a nice balance of our food, our habits, our recreation, etc., our sleep, so that all those things have a direct impact to intelligence. If you are not regulated in those, then it may be a little challenging to make spiritual progress. So just a quick summary. We discussed the why is learning verses important, and then we discussed how. So if you have a comment, if you have some other techniques, please mention in the comment section. I would love to hear your perspective, and if it helps you in any way, feel free to share with your friends and everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful experience in learning wonderful verses from Bhagavad Gita and other holy scriptures. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.